Hey everybody, Steph here. So this is going to be the first of a new series, Entrepreneurial Stories. As you may or may not know, I've been a professional nerd since the early 90s, but I've been an entrepreneur for longer. Something like 27 years. I have to do the exact math. I started when I was a young lad. In addition to that, my parents owned businesses as well. So ever since I was about 10 years old, I've been exposed to small, medium-sized business my entire life. What I plan to do in this series is to basically just go over all kinds of entrepreneurial stories, things I've done and experienced. I've seen from my parents, because when I was a kid, as young as 10 years old, we would just talk about business all the time. At supper, in the car, my parents would be talking to each other. So it's just been something that's been a part of my life for the longest time. In addition to my personal and family experiences, I'm also going to talk about experiences I know from friends. So when you become an entrepreneur, if not right away, over time, you eventually find yourself becoming friends with other entrepreneurs because you share similar interests. What I found in life that people who are entrepreneurs have a different mindset than people who are not. I'm not saying better, I'm saying different. And it's a different worldview almost. And so what happens, you end up becoming friendly or friends with other entrepreneurs. And so I've learned a lot from their experiences as well, because it was as much a hobby for me and for them as it was to make a living. So in this very first story, we're going to talk about the one-hit wonders. There we go. One-trick pony, or the one-hit wonder entrepreneur or business people, and the message or the warning that gives you. So what is a one-hit wonder? Is somebody who starts their first business and blam, they do excellent, they do well. Some of them even become huge, like Mark Zuckerberg or something. And you figure, wow, these people, they're business geniuses. Could be, or it could be more likely that they just got very, very lucky. Now, any honest business person will tell you that luck has a lot to do with business. And you never know what product will work, what service will work, and which won't. And you hear it often enough from honest business people. They go into business thinking that product A is going to do amazing, but they also have product B and C. And what they actually find out when they get out there, it's actually product D that makes the business. This is very common. So even with the business masters, like Steve Jobs, considered one of the best business minds of our time, he had many failures. Some of his pet projects, some of his projects he thought were going to be the best sellers of all time, ended up being losers. He didn't want to have, more recently, he did not want to have the App Store. He had to be fought with, and he had to be pushed into creating the App Store for the iOS, for iPhones. And a good thing he was, because if he wasn't, we don't know how successful the iPhone would have been. Because in fact, if you recall, one of the big reasons why iPhone was able to grab so much market share and hold it was because of the App Store, something that Steve Jobs did not want. Anyhow, off on a tangent. So with the one-hit wonders, somebody who gets lucky right away and their business grows, this can lead to a sense of unjustified confidence in their abilities as businessmen. So let me give you a quick story about somebody, a friend of a friend. He is going back a while back. So this person built up his business over time, and it did really well, and he sold it for, I think it was $10 million or something. Back in the day when 10 million was a lot of money. So he sold his business, and he thought he was the best. So he then using the money from his business, he decided to go into a whole different industry. So long story short, after about 2 years, he burned through half his 10 million, just gone, burned through it because he didn't know what he was doing in the new industry. And he quickly learned that just because you're successful in one business, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful in the next, because there is an element of luck that plays into any business that you get into, which begs a business strategy, which I think I'll cover in another vlog. So yeah, when you hear about the one-hit wonders who are going to give you business advice, I would be very careful about what they tell you, because when you got the mojo, when you got a product that's selling really well, you have to do some really bad moves to screw that up. The real good business operators, my biggest mentors, the people I respected the most, were those who started their business from scratch, didn't start with their parents' business. I always laugh when I hear about people who say, "Well, I'm a self-made guy, and I started with working for my parents' multi-million-dollar company, and I was able to achieve this and this and this." The hardest part about starting a business is starting the business, figuring out the business model, figuring out the processes in a business to make it efficient. When you walk into your father's business that's doing millions of sales, and then you just handle the marketing, or whatever, you go in there, I'm not very impressed. Because you're just walking into it's like jumping into a moving car and saying, "Look, my car I made it go a little bit faster now." That's a terrible analogy, but you get the idea. Now, the people who you should look to in terms of business smarts are people who started their own businesses from scratch without help from mommy or daddy. People who've had multiple successes in multiple industries, different industries. If you're in the software business and then you launch a successful app that does, I don't know, whatever, marketing app and marketing software app. I'm just pulling something off the top of my head. And then you go into another piece of software which you push through your channels that you've already established. It's fine. It's cool. But what's more impressive is you go into software in one business and then you open up, a retail line and another business, something totally different, and you're able to make both businesses succeed equally. That's much more impressive to me. One of my favorite mentors was a guy who was able to do that across many businesses, many different industries that are unrelated, and he was able to make them work, like 7 different industries. And the guy is worth, I don't know what he's worth today, maybe 100 million or something, so he's not a billionaire or anything, but the fact that he's able to make many different types of businesses work, and where he started them from scratch a lot of the times, that is pretty impressive. Of course, when you got a bunch of money, it's a lot easier to start a business. So anyway, that's my entrepreneurial story for today. Beware the advice of the one-trick ponies or the one-hit wonders, and beware the advice of people who actually were able to start up in their family's business, because that's just kind of silly. Anyway, that's it for now. Let me know what you think. If you like this style where I teach lessons through stories, not by just giving you anecdotes, because a lot of these guys, I see they put out business how-to videos, and then you discover that their business is to teach you how to start a business. And then you discover that, a lot of times I hear what they're saying, and I'm saying, I think it sounds like they got that from a book. I don't know. Anyway, ciao.